Well, it's still Politics HQ on New Central Television, and this time I have my guest in the studio. Declan Ihekaire is the National Coordinator, Activist for Good Governance, and also Niniola Adegoke is the essay on Youth Affairs and Special Duties to Obasa. Both men join me live in the studio. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let me start with you, Niniola. I mean, we've been at this since the start of, well, I call it the struggle, maybe in your words, struggle, and you made some then predictions. Well, largely, a lot of it has come to pass. You predicted that maybe I would like to believe maybe from a point of strong knowledge. You said Obasa would return. You said
all the charges before him will be dropped.
Will be dropped. And then you also hinted on resignation, and then she becoming the deputy back and all of that. I mean, at some point, I'm forced to call you, you know, in this context, a political prophet. But, I mean, what don't we know? What happened behind the scenes?
Well, good evening once again. Mr. Dakbo, what happens today, I'm very sure is not strange or is not new to the political pundits outside there.
It's strange to a lot of Lagosians.
Well, it may be strange to a lot of Lagosians, but people who are fully in the game, they know what is going to happen at the end of the journey. That's why we have been advocating for the players, most especially the people on the other side, that the best thing in crisis is negotiation. Even in war, you don't win war on the field, but you win war in the room, where you table your cards, you negotiate, you know, we shovel things together. That is how life is. But in a situation whereby you find yourself in a crisis and you insist that you are not going to shift ground, believe me, that person will end up to be a victim. But in this case, I want to be magnanimous. I'm titling it as a win-win situation.
Why is it win-win?
It is win-win.
Win for who and who?
For all the parties involved, honestly.
How is it a win for the speaker that resigned?
Yeah, she went back to her seat.
Oh, okay.
I told you that she's only holding that office because Mr. Speaker was not around. And all what transpired when Mr. Speaker left is purely a party matter. And today what I said, you know, God perfected it. It's not by my power. And means out of 10 predictions, conveniently, 9 of them came to pass. So thank God for that.
That's according to you. I would also like to believe maybe that there was quite a lot of things you knew that maybe wasn't privy to the public. But let me leave you for a moment. Let me bring in Declan. Declan, I'd like to believe that you've been following the politics and drama happening at the Lagos State House. As a Lagosian yourself, how do you feel after today's announcement?
Well, I just have to start by commending all parties involved.
Commending?
Yeah, I have to commend everybody. Because in every situation, you find people disagreeing. But the most important thing is agreeing. You disagree to agree. And at this point, there was political disagreement, which would have cost Lagos State a lot of big deal when it comes to governance. There's a difference between politics and governance. You see, politics could be played by politicians, but when it comes to governance, it affects everybody. And so I think what has happened today is a victory for good governance. It's a victory for Lagosians. It's a victory to Mr. Speaker. It's a victory to the Deputy Speaker, Mrs. Meranda. It's a victory to all the lawmakers in Lagos State. It's a victory to the nation at large.
Is it?
Yes, very well. Lagos is known and...
But I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes, please.
But this feels like, I mean, a situation where, for some that, you know, observed all of that happened, a situation whereby maybe someone somewhere called the shots.
Well, I think
and then everyone just had to fall in line.
I need to,
even if it's against their personal will or interest.
Let me just comment. There is nothing like someone calls in maybe against some personal will or something like that. But that is politics for you. That's why I came in. I said there's a difference between politics and governance. We can all agree that Lagos has been addressed as center of excellence.
So what happened today? Would you call it politics or governance?
Yeah, what happened today is a victory for good governance. It's a victory. It's a struggle that's been settled based on the fact that what should be achieved and what should be the interest of the majority should be of good governance. And that's the area.
A victory for good governance.
Yeah, that's the area I want to come in now. Don't forget, Mr. Obasa, the current speaker now, has been there for years. Okay? And he's been doing well. If he has not been doing well, I can tell you that the executive arm would have found it difficult in developing or in achieving as much as they have achieved.
But if you have to go back, you said he's been doing well. Then, listen. More than 90% of the House impeached him then.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not here to speak for him. I am here to speak for governance, for good governance. That's what I stand for. I am the national coordinator for activists for good governance. And I'm saying there's a difference between politics and good governance, policies towards good governance. And that was why his colleagues gave him vote of confidence sometime last year. Because
he also gave Meranda a vote of confidence.
That is the political vote of confidence. Because there was an issue then. There was a political issue then. But what I'm telling you is this. Let's forget what that has happened. I told some people, I said, it's a family affair. It's pure family affair in the sense that they all know themselves. And they all knew they were going to settle it in a family way. But they were extremists somewhere who were trying to make Lagos not to be center of excellence. They really want to see...
Extremists?
Yes.
Within the party?
No, well, it could be outside the party. What am I saying? When it started, I heard people saying, oh, this is another fubarization in Lagos State. And we knew what's happening in River State today. But Lagos State or Lagosians and members of the House of Assembly have been able to prove this strong. They have been able to say that, look, we are more united in dishing out good policies for the state. And that is why Lagos State stands out. I want to tell you, I'm not from Lagos. Okay? But I've spent years in Lagos State. And most of the time, I envy policies that are dished out in Lagos State. Most of the time, I want to it should be replicated in my own state, in Imo State. And probably that is why the governor there, Hope Uzodinma, decided to switch to APC. But switching to APC, switch to APC of Lagos, it should have moved to APC of Lagos State, not the national APC.
Okay.
What do I mean?
Okay.
APC of Lagos State showcases good governance. And that is what I've seen today that has played out amongst the members.
You said APC of Lagos showcases. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. Good governance.
Very well.
Do you think Lagosians are happy?
Well, it depends on what you mean by Lagosians.
Are they happy with the cost of in terms of infrastructure? For instance, rent?
Well, let me tell you. Let me just open this to you. Lagos State as of today is a mini Nigeria.
Is it?
Is a mini Nigeria.
How?
In everything you can talk about. Security network, schools, other infrastructures you cannot find elsewhere in even some African countries. They are both here in Lagos.
You talk of security, but let me give you I'll give you a very, very, this happened right.
Go ahead.
In front of me.
Go ahead.
Around Oshodi.
Yes.
You have all these area boys.
Yes.
You have them at Oshodi. You have them at some point in Aton. You have them scattered in Lagos.
Very well.
Many, if your car breaks down, you're in trouble. Even broad daylight. There was one incident I saw. A man bought his own television.
Very well.
Was carrying it on his head.
Yes.
And these area boys accosted him. A passerby that he must pay for load.
Thank you, Tapo.
And guess what? Yeah. Just beneath them is a police station.
Will you listen to me?
Okay.
You are speaking based on the fact that you're in Lagos. It happens elsewhere in Onitsha. I'm coming. But don't be surprised. You said
I've had countless run-ins along what do you call it, Ketu.
You said.
I'm just staying on security.
Yes, I understand you. And you said, and there was a police station, right? There. But police you are seeing there is not the governor. That police you are seeing there is not the commissioner. That police you are seeing there is not Mr. Speaker. The duty of the police should have been to do what? To arrest. And I'm aware of the fact that the task force set up by Lagos State government on environmental, headed by CSP Ihekaire, is doing wonderfully well.
Okay. Okay,
in that regard.
No problem. Let me leave you for a moment. Let me come back to Nini and let's bring it back to what we saw today at the house. Nini, you of course said quite a number of things in the course of this what I call it drama that unfolded at the house, and you at some point even hinted that there was negotiations that happened that led to the impeachment of the speaker. So I'm asking you now, what negotiations also happened to his reinstatement?
Like what my header brother said. He said...
Because back then, if I remember clearly, yes, you said about 30 million was paid to some members of the House. Right. And that led to the impeachment. So, I mean, what negotiations happened this time?
In politics, negotiation is always an emotion. And it will continue to be. Like what happens today. You see some set of leaders stepping down, some are coming in. And if you look at what happened at the floor of the House, you should know that those things happen without rancor. That simply means that there's a lot of discussion behind cameras. And that is how policy is supposed to be. You don't you don't make everything official. In any system where you decide that, okay, everything you want to do, it has to be official, then there's going to be trouble. In some areas you need to bend, in some areas you need to be upright to accommodate different interests. And that is the only way you can govern successfully, including United States that we normally use as a standard. No society is perfect. Just like the example you cited under crime. Do you want to tell me that United States, with all their resources and security guard there, they don't have issues? Mr. Tapo, please stop that. Lagos State is a template.
Let's not go.
Lagos State is a template to all other states.
So that we don't digress from the topic of today.
What I'm telling you is this.
If we are to talk about insecurity, there are efforts, but in broad daylight when it comes to the menace of area boys, it's real. Lagosians face it every day. But that's not why we are here today.
Let me chip in. I think Lagos State is doing something about that. I'm aware, so many a time, I'm aware that task force goes and raid Oshodi, and they are still raiding. They still pick people up. People like us, sometimes we say, we try to advocate for the rights of those ones too. Because there's a limit to what you can do to citizens too. All right? So sometimes we also advocate, no, get them better job and other things. And that's why you have vocational centers here and there created by Lagos State government. Okay. So I just want to say this clearly.
Okay.
My brother here is a very good friend of mine and a brother. He is a politician. He might have dealt with this crisis or with the whole thing in a political way. I am dealing with the situation from the policy making of Lagos State. And I am saying clearly that for me, why I stood for what has happened today is because Lagos has always got it right in policy-wise. And it takes a stable House of Assembly to make reasonable laws to help the executive to succeed. So if the executive has been succeeding in Lagos State, it's as a result of the synergy between the man at the helm of affairs of the House of Assembly and the executive. And so that was why I said earlier that there are people who are interested in disembowering that relationship. And once they achieve that, I can tell you, the Center of Excellence Lagos is known for might lose that sort.
I mean, talking about relationship, I'm coming back to you, Nini. All right. What's the relationship, I mean, with this recent development now? I mean, you are the SA to Right Honorable. What's the relationship between Honorable Obasa and the governor of Lagos State?
The relationship is getting back to normal. Like I said before,
it's getting back to normal.
Yeah, it's getting back. The last time I told you, I said in politics there's no big deal when if you share different interests. Not all the time we are going to have the same or similar interest. But anytime we have different interests, we look for a way, to manage those differences and make sure that at the end of the journey, all interests are aligned. Do you understand me? I believe at this point, not only Mr. Governor again, even other lawmakers, they are now on the same page.
Are they?
Yes, they are now on the same page. That is why I said if you experience, probably if you replay the video of what transpired at the floor of the House today, you will discover that all what took place there went smoothly.
So are you saying, Honorable Obasa right now is confident. He can confidently say, with his full chest that he has the loyalty of the House members.
Believe me.
After all that has happened.
Believe me, that house is now intact. 100%.
That house is intact.
Since last week's Thursday, Mr. Speaker has reactivated that confidence.
How?
In so many ways.
Just give me two.
Number one, since he got back to the office, most of the legislative business have started. Back to normal.
That's
secondly,
okay.
Secondly, probably if you are keen in politics very well, you will discover there is a lot of meetings going on left and right between him, Mr. Governor, and others. Who are the key players in this game? All the major Lagos stakeholders, most especially our party leaders, they have been strategically involved in so many meetings to make sure that they continue to reposition Lagos State as the #1 state in Nigeria.
How does he perceive Madam Mojisola Meranda now?
You mean Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker still regards Meranda as a personal sister. Nothing fishy, nothing wrong. The relationship is
he doesn't feel. You are saying he doesn't feel betrayed at all.
In politics, you must not give room to such. If you truly want to perform in that.
How about the court cases now?
We will take care of that when the time reaches.
What does that mean?
We are going to take care of that. What it means is that, okay, a case is going on. Like I said on Sunday, was it Sunday or Saturday? I said we have legal means of resolving crisis. We also have political intervention. But in politics, political intervention is far, 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 far better. Political solution extremely better than the legal matter. Let me tell you something about Western system of conflict resolution. Most of the time when you go to court, the parties involved, when they come back again, they hardly relate very well anymore. But if you look at our traditional way of settling conflict, by the time the headers bring you together, they settle you amicably and all the parties involved will come back together, drink water, eat together. That is why the African traditional way of settling conflict is the best. Even the Western world testified to it. And that thing has come to stay. And it's happened in this crisis as well. So Mr. Speaker is a man with big heart. That man is big-hearted.
I mean, a lot.
Great mind.
Okay, so
open mind.
I'm going to go back a bit. I mean, there must have been issues that led to all what we saw happen that eventually resulted in his impeachment. Are you saying those issues have been resolved?
Those people that instigated are probably the originator of those issues. After the first time, the subsequent sittings they had, did you see them raising that issue anymore? You should ask them.
So are you telling me?
But Mr. Speaker has already.
Are you telling me heads will not roll?
Forget about the heads. We don't believe in that. All what we are after.
So nobody would suffer a backlash? Is that what you're saying?
Mr. Dapo, I want you to take this to bank. We don't believe in incitement. We don't believe in vendetta. And at the same time, what we are after is the progress of the state, nothing more.
So you're saying Mr. Speaker will not go after House members that he feels betrayed?
I'm speaking for him. Just like the way my brother is speaking for good governance. I am speaking for the Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, that is a man that doesn't look bad. He's a liberal person. If you cannot accommodate different people in politics, then you cannot go far.
So why did they impeach him? If it was that good?
They never impeached him. They never. The word impeachment or removal has never existed. I
saw it happen on the floor. Nigerians saw it happen on the floor of the House.
That is why I said it's just a charade. Nothing like that happened.
And you also, in fact that they were paid. Are you saying that these individuals too cannot be paid again for what we saw?
For what? That you mean for what happened to
yes.
Let them come and if such thing happen. I'm here. If you call me back again for such thing, if anybody can come forward and say, Mr. Speaker, pay them for them to be back to the House.
Because you told me on this program, you said it's more of money politics than reality.
But let me just chip in. You see, as a politician, he has said it rightly. They know the way they settle their things. Okay? They know the way they settle their things behind closed doors. But my happiness today is this. I see a stronger tie. I see a stronger family.
Stronger
family.
Not a broken one.
No,
Not a broken.
I see a stronger family.
But doesn't this reveal diversity of interest?
No.
At all.
When you have over 90%.
No, let me help you. You see, maybe sometime I might.
Because it feels cosmetic.
See, no, sometimes I might tend to go into politics when the coast is better off. But what I know that has happened in Lagos State was a test running to see how impeachment could look like and how best can we resolve it. And I tell you for free, they succeeded in winning that struggle. That was why I said it's a win-win affair. Win-win affair in the sense that in other states, properties would have been set ablaze. In other places, people would have been hunted down. But it never happened in Lagos. It never happened. Even when the invasion or no invasion came to being, nothing happened. Nobody was injured. Nobody sustained any injury. Now, therefore, Lagos for me remains center of excellence. They have won my heart. And I give kudos to every actor, everyone who participated in that struggle. I call it a struggle. Not a removal, not an impeachment.
I told him that.
It's a struggle.
It's purely struggle.
We definitely,
I said that.
We need to go, but I mean, you can be rest assured we'll definitely put our eyes on this ball and as the story unfolds. But in 30 seconds, what should Lagosians expect now that...
Well, let me quickly appreciate.
Let
me quickly appreciate some set of people. Number one, the superhero in this struggle is Lagosian. The Lagosians are the superheroes. You understand? Because, believe me, we, on behalf of my principal, we appreciate them, the calmness, you know, the approach to issues, the easy-going way of handling things. They did well. Again, our party leaders, we also appreciate them. They did well, extremely well. On Sunday, I said their leadership style has been tested, but today they show that yes, they are truly in charge. Again, the lawmakers, today nobody is aggrieved anymore. They are all now on the same page. And believe me, this will surely lead to monumental progress. And the executive arm of government now will certainly continue to experience good and smooth relationship they have been enjoying with the legislative arm again.
How about the role of Mr. President in all of this? Mr.
President, fine. As a president, you will not want any part or any region of your country to be on fire. And we thank Mr. President as well, because Mr. President has remained calm and be a father to all. No interference. All I want is just peace. All right. And let everything be.
Yes, a second for me.
Thank you.
You can
we need to go. We need to
go. My
closing
part is that to tell Mr. Speaker that you should not forget the fact that they are all his brothers and sisters.
Okay.
You know, the way he has said it, that they remain brothers and sisters.
Anyway, the great thing is that we hope that the House, you know, gets, of course, on in terms of plenary soon, even though we know it's been suspended indefinitely. I think one issue I'd also like to appeal to the House to look at in Lagos is the rent crisis. It's big. It's big. Lagosians are complaining.
Be expecting a policy to.
We need not just a policy implementation. It looks exploitative. I mean, for people, regular people working, they can barely meet their rents anymore. So it's something I think the House really needs to look at once they resume plenary. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Declan Ihekaire, National Coordinator Activist for Good Governance, and Niniola Adegoke, SA on Youth Affairs and Special Duties to Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.